Yeah. Hey. You know what time it is? Yeah. You know what time it is?
You are watching a master at work.
Some people are probably like, what time is it? You know what time it is.
Showtime.
All right, we are back again. Whoa, on the Coach T podcast, man. I am so excited. I am with my boys, Kyle, my boy Hicks. This is the NFL show. This is number 3. This is our 3rd album, pretty much, man. The last 2 episodes have been roughly about 45 minutes each. This will probably, be around that mark. We'll see what happens. Let's just have fun with it. But we dropping albums every week, man. The fans are loving it. The people are loving it. They're feeling it. I'm feeling it. I know Coach Kyle and Hicks, you guys are feeling it. You ready to go? So let's get going with episode 3 of the NFL show. All right, so we'll begin with our we'll continue with a segment we did last week. This is our stock up, stock down. This will be our NFL coaches version. So this will be a stock up of a coach that we like for 2021, and then stock down of the coach that we loathe.
Talk to him.
My stock up coach for 2021 season will be new head coach, Brandon Staley of the L.A. Chargers. Listen here. This is a crazy fact. This coach, just 5 years ago, was the defensive coordinator at John Carroll University. If I'm not mistaken, John Carroll is a D3 program. So this coach went from a D3 low-level college football coach. 5 years later, he is now a head coach in the NFL for the Los Angeles Chargers. He is clearly on the uprise. He's clearly on the uptick. If I could really buy stock in people, I would buy stock in this man because I feel like he is going to be a really good coach. He led the LA Rams last season to a top 3 defense within the NFL overall. So he knows defense. That is something that the Chargers have needed for a while. I know they needed a little more defense last year. I think they would have fared even better last year if they had a better defense. I talked about Justin Herbert being my number 5 quarterback for 2021. So I know the offense is going to be rocking and rolling. This coach gets their defense to at least do their part. So this is my stock up coach of 2021.
Talk to him.
My stock down coach of 2021. It's not that I loathe him. It's not that I don't like him. It's not like he's not a great coach, because I feel like this coach has great pedigree. He is well known. He is going to be a Hall of Fame coach. But in 2021, I just don't see it happening. My stock down coach is Sean Payton. You lose Drew Brees, clearly NFL Hall of Fame quarterback. You got to try to replace him with Jameis or Taysom Hill. The defense was pretty good last year, much better than what most expected. But I just don't see this team taking a step forward. If anything, I see them taking a step back with losing a Drew Brees at quarterback, although he was not that great last year. I just think you got to take a step back. That's just the rules of engagement when you lose a Hall of Fame quarterback. So
talk to him.
Let's go with Hicks. Let you begin with your stock up, stock down NFL coach of 2021.
I'll just go ahead and say my stock down was the same thing. Sean Payton just losing. Drew Brees, obviously Michael Thomas situation. You don't have a quarterback right now, really, in either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. So that's a clear.
Talk to him.
But my stock, when I took stock up in my head, I was thinking with coaches making that leap, into a different tier of coaching. I think there's tiers of coaches like there's tiers of players. And I feel like Mike Vrabel is taking that next leap into a higher tier of coaching this year, just because the consistency of the Titans, they do have Super Bowl expectations. He's a guy who comes from the Patriot way. So I don't know. After a lot of consistency, my stock up would be Mike Vrabel. I feel like he's going to come in this year with a high level of expectation, and with Derrick Henry on his team, have a pretty nice pathway to reach that expectation.
All right, Coach Kyle, who do you have as your stock up and stock down coaches of 2021?
Talk to him.
Yes, sir. So first off, I really like those 2 picks in both you guys, especially Mike Vrabel. I mean, he was, when I first heard this question, that's who first came in my head. But after, looking at a couple stuff, my stock up coach, I'm going with Mike Tomlin. I mean, dude, the thing is, he's never had a losing season in 14 years, man. I mean, the 14
Pretty
years.
good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's gone to the playoffs 9 times, won the division 7 times, AFC championship 3 times, Super Bowl champ, and 2 different appearances. And again, even with Big Ben, I feel like not playing that well last year, they still started 11-0. And this year when they have Dewey, I mean, he's been really consistent with what they're hearing. So having a really good backup in there not if, but when Big Ben goes down, I think that's going to be a really, really big, important piece this year.
Talk to him.
Now, my stock down coach, honestly, dude, I got to go with John Gruden. As much as, high pedigree that he is on, I think the Raiders are just kind of a dumpster fire, dude. I mean, just for the last few years, it just seems there's always some type of drama there. And I actually really like Derek Carr. If you look at his stats, like last year, he had the best year he has had in his entire career so far. I mean, this man had 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns with 9 picks, and had a 101.4 rating. And with all that, having their quarterback playing the best he ever has, they go 8-8. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think it's really going to go well with them. And then with Josh Jacobs really earning a lot more respect from the box. I mean, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. And their defense is ranked 27th in the league, going this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for those boys. Although they are my pick as a surprise team of 2021. Look, I'm not naive to think it can't go either way. So
yeah.
All right, next we're going to have our 2021 top 5 fantasy player rankings. These are our non-quarterback rankings. This is presented by TST. I'm going to present this to you guys. I think we go kind of round robin. We go with top running back. We'll each hit on top running back, and we'll do it quickly. It doesn't have to be long. Then we'll go wide receiver, then we'll go tight end, flex position, then we'll finish with defense. How does that sound for you guys?
Sounds perfect.
Talk to him.
All right, good. So my top running back, and then Kyle, I'll let you follow me. My top running back is Derrick Henry. I want you guys to listen to this. Of his 10 games that he'll have this season against AFC North opponents and AFC South opponent, only the Colts, so only one of those teams ranked within the top 12 defenses in 2020. So he's not playing a lot of returning defenses that at least, did well last year. It's only the Colts that did, enough to make themselves a top 12 defense last year. Everyone else was complete garbage. So I think with that being said, Derrick Henry is, he's going to get you 1,500, maybe 1,750, maybe even close to the 2,000 mark with some of these defenses he's facing. You add Julio Jones, so that helps open up the run game for him as well. So I think this is easily, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the top fantasy running back for this year. Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Hey, yeah, man. I'm actually going to ride with you. I'm also going with Derrick Henry. I mean, really, for you took the words out of my mouth for everything you said. He's the reigning champ. He's a reigning rushing champ. I believe he had 2,000 yards last year. And they also really think about it. They also are getting their all-pro left tackle Taylor Lewan back this year from a torn ACL last year. So even with him, I mean, Julio Jones, like you said, opening that pass game up, they gotta respect that guy. He's a freak. It's unfortunate that they also got another freak in that backfield. So I'm going with Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, and Hicks, I'll give you a chance, obviously, to talk about your top running back. My former college teammate, my boy Roger Saffold, he is still collecting them checks in the NFL. He is also a returning starter for the Tennessee Titans on the offensive line. Derrick Henry runs behind him. He runs behind Taylor Lewan, like you mentioned. They're going to be pounding the rock, and then they're going to give a little play action, throw it to A.J. Brown over the top and Julio Jones over the top. It's going to be a sight to see with the Titans offense. So top running back for you, Hicks. Who do you have?
Talk to him.
I have Saquon Barkley as my number 1 running back. We got to remember this guy had, 1,000 yards in 2019 and 1,300 yards in 2018. So he's going to be a beast. He's going to be somebody definitely to deal with. I see him getting double-digit touchdowns this year. And then he's not real big in the receiving category. But I think that with coming and learning offenses more and more, that opens it up to you a little bit more to be able to have that option of catching passes and doing different things. So I think that this is a prove-it year for him. He's definitely going to want to, make a statement known that he's still the same caliber player. I know he's looking at, wanting to sign another extension contract, whatever it may be. And so I'm going to go ahead and go with Saquon Barkley for my number one running back as far as
I love it, man. That's been a reoccurring thing for you over the last few NFL podcasts. You seemingly really like the Giants and you really like Saquon, so I respect that pick, man. All right, so now we'll go to top wide receivers again. Let's run through these, make them quick.
Talk to him.
My top wide receiver, I'm gonna keep it simple, is Stephon Diggs. In 2020, he led the NFL in targets, he led the NFL in receptions, and he led the NFL in yards last year. So this is an easy top receiver pick for me. You want a guy that's going to have a lot of targets, catch a lot of balls, get a lot of yards, and score a lot of touchdowns and get you a lot of fantasy points to help you win that championship. So Stephon Diggs is my number one wide receiver fantasy pick. Kyle, you can go next. Who do you have, buddy?
Talk to him.
All right, yeah. So my top wide receiver, I got Mr. Devontae Adams from the Packers. And really just the numbers show he had 115 receptions, 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns. I think he's breaking 20 this year. I think he's a real piece for Aaron Rodgers. And then especially with the Packers getting Randall Cobb back, you would think that might take a couple receptions away from him, but I think the vice versa is going to happen. And I think defenses are going to respect him a little bit. They're going to respect that chemistry that him and A-Rod have. I think he's going to open up a little bit more for Deontay. And yeah, he's my top receiver this year with 20 plus touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. 20 plus in the last dance year. I love it.
Talk to him.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go with Tyreek Hill. I'm surprised neither one of you guys said him. But of course, explosive. Everybody knows Tyreek Hill is the big money threat, deep ball threat, can score at any time from any point in the field. So I think that the Chiefs offense is kind of like, it's getting to the point to where we've seen this before, again and again. But I feel like, in 2020, Tyreek Hill had 15 touchdowns. So he's going to be coming back ready to strike. He's obviously was looked at every game last year because they were coming off of a Super Bowl win and was still able to get 15 touchdowns. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Tyreek Hill. I know that he's, concentrating on racing Usain Bolt right now. But if he can just, focus in and dial in and really, get to the season, I think the Chiefs are going to kind of want to get through this season without getting hurt. I guarantee that they focus a lot on avoiding injury, and we don't see them run up a ton of scores, or that they're really trying to make it to those playoff games. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Tyreek Hill.
All right, let's go to top tight end fantasy pick.
Talk to him.
My top tight end, fantasy tight end. I mentioned it before. I think he's going to be first team All-Pro as a rookie. He'll be the only. Well, not the only. He'll be the second tight end ever as a rookie to make first team All-Pro. He would join Jeremy Shockey. I don't know if any of you guys remember that name. I'm a little older than you guys. So maybe you don't remember that. So he's going to join him as a rookie tight end that makes All-Pro, first team All-Pro as a rookie. I'm sticking to that claim. Kyle Pitts is easily my number one fantasy tight end for 2021. Let's go to Hicks.
It's funny, Shockey. I've been talking about the Giants so long. Shockey was a long-time Giants staple, and then he went over to the Saints. But he was such a big, bulky dude. Like, he could move for his size, but I just feel like he was a bigger, squarer dude.
He's kind of like a Gronk type,
But pre-Gronk,
pre-Gronk, yeah.
And he didn't have
young kids out there pre-Gronk
as Gronk did, and he was a little bit like Gronk was wild in his personality, but on this field, he did what he needed to do and where.
No, I'm sure Shockey, he went
Shockey
to a few more than a few parties when he was in the NFL.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with George Kittle. I feel like he was having a good year last year. He had some injury problems, but the reason that I say that is because he's going to have, whereas the other person I would think maybe Travis Kelce, but they got so many weapons. And honestly, Travis Kelce is going to have a lot of coverage on him this year, just because he does play such a pivotal role in like their third down conversions and whatnot. Now, George Kittle's going to have a brand new quarterback that they know can hurt people with his legs. But when you're a brand new quarterback in NFL, man, you rely on those big targets, and he's going to probably tear Kittle's up. So I'm going to go ahead and say George Kittle's is going to be my fantasy tight end.
All right, Kyle, who do you have? Your fantasy tight end for 2021.
Talk to him.
Yeah, so I think if George Kittle stays really healthy, he's gonna be one of those top guys for sure. He was almost who I picked, but I think I'm actually almost going to counter what I just said earlier. I'm gonna go with Darren Waller on the Raiders. The really big reason for that is again with Josh Jacobs. I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it here with Josh Jacobs. Going to his third year and with back-to-back rushing seasons, he's gonna earn a lot more respect in there. I think that's going to open it up a little bit. And typically when that happens, that's opening up a lot of stuff for like the receivers and things like that. Dude, I mean, they got Henry Ruggs. That's about it, And even him, I think he's still going to his second or third year maybe. But, so I think it's going to open up. I think Darren Waller is going to be Derek Carr's number one target most of the year. And then I actually just went it off with even a quote that he had just not so long ago. He said, talent-wise, when it comes to block, running, rushing, the football sometimes, he's hand down one of, if not the best tight end in the entire NFL. So the fact that he says that he's got trust in him, so he's got trust in him. So he's an explosive kid. So I think he's gonna come back and he's gonna be my top tight end for this 2021 season.
All right, good. Next position is the flex position. So this really could be any running back, any receiver, any tight end that you want to add to the team.
Talk to him.
My top flex pick for 2021. I want you guys to listen in. I know you two, Kyle and Hicks, you guys are going to like this. My pick for my flex of 2021 is Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts. I want you guys to listen here. He scored 12 touchdowns last year and gained nearly 1,500 total yards as a rookie. 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. Now, 11 of those touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. He only had one receiving touchdown. But he also had according to my DVO and my and some of the research I've done, he ranked as the number one player in all of the NFL, receivers, tight ends, running backs, in quote unquote catch percentage. So he caught 92% of the balls thrown to him. So when it's thrown to him, which it wasn't a lot last year, he catches it. So I think this year, especially with Carson Wentz, whether he's going to be back or not, we'll see. Who's ever under center, I guarantee Frank Reich is telling those guys, throw the ball to number 28, Jonathan Taylor, who again is my number one flex for 2021. Hicks, I will let you go next.
Talk to him.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say another guy who's on the road to redemption, and that's Christian McCaffrey. So obviously last year he was hurt, and he only had like 5 touchdowns. He only played, I think, maybe 3 or 4 games. But the year prior to that, he was also a 15 touchdown guy. Not to mention that he had 116 receptions in 2019. So he's a dual threat. He had more receptions than some people's like number 2 receiver. And I feel like with a year to stay in the league and just get stronger, even though he was hurt, but sometimes injury does good for players, and it might allow him to just study, get down his technique, get back to the fundamentals. He's probably been playing football every year since he was like 10. This is probably the first year he's ever got to sit back and relax and really miss football and really want to play again. So I feel like Christian McCaffrey coming back, it's going to be a struggle because Carolina's just going to be struggle season. But sometimes when you have those struggle teams, I mean, as a Lions fan, you should probably know most of all, Terrence, like a struggle team sometimes equals big numbers from one player. So
yeah. All right, Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I'm actually kind of going with that same type of point. I'm going with Alvin Kamara, all right, on the Saints. There's a couple different reasons. You guys talked about it actually in the last weekend. They ain't got a quarterback, all right? They have 0 quarterback. They don't know who it's going to be, whether it's going to be Taysom, James Winston. And with that whole, having a bad relationship with the Michael Thomas from that whole injury from last year, I'm picking Alvin Kamara for the sole purpose that he has to be the guy. And if he is not the guy, I mean, it ain't happening for him. So I'm going Alvin Kamara just on the sole purpose that he has to do it.
Okay, good. You can see for the people listening out there, us three, we clearly value the running back position. They say it's dead in the NFL, but when you're talking fantasy football, the running back is alive and well, baby. So pick those running backs. You can't go wrong with any of the guys we just hit on. All right, we'll round out our top 5 fantasy quote unquote player rankings for the 2021 season. Again, this is 9 quarterback positions, and we're going to round out with the top defenses.
Talk to him.
My top defense of 2021, my fantasy defense of 2021 are the Tennessee Titans. Hicks, you hit on it earlier. Vrabel, he's going to ascend to, upper echelon coach. I have the Titans playing in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. I made that abundantly clear that I feel like the Titans are going to have a great year. They added Julio. I talked about my top fantasy running back is Derrick Henry. They have A.J. Brown. I like what Tannehill can do. He's really resurrected his career. This defense, out of their, again, 10 games against AFC South and AFC North teams in 2021, only Buffalo rated as a top 10 offense last year, according to Football Outsiders DVO rankings. I know it's a lot, but at the end of the day, they're not going to play a lot of teams that are returning that have good offenses. The Buffalo Bills are it. So that's going to be a tough matchup. But other than that, they don't really have a lot of teams that are going to challenge them to play a lot of defense. And I honestly think their defense is going to be much better. I brought this up on a previous show. Mike Vrabel is a former defensive coach. You said it, Hicks. He's a part of the Bill Belichick Patriots tree, and they want to play defense. They want to control the line of scrimmage. They want to slow down the run. They want to stop teams from having big plays. They want to take away your number one option, and if they can, your number 2 option, and have you rely on something that you're not comfortable relying on. So the Tennessee Titans are my 2021 fantasy defense.
Okay.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. Why not?
Talk to him.
So my top defense this year, again, might be a little biased, but I think it's got some truth, is that Indianapolis Colts. All right. We're ranked 11th on overall. Last year, we were ranked 11th for overall points in the league, 8th in yards allowed. Honestly, with the additions of Kwity Paye on the edge, and then we also have that safety, Julian Blackman from Utah, and at that safety position that we lost Lee Cooker to. I think this defense just feels complete. I think it was always missing a little that edge rush to go ahead and go with Houston and DeForest Buckner. So I think with just those little additions, and then obviously that great Kenny Moore on the side, I think we might need one more corner. But really, I think this defense is really, really close to being really complete. And I think they're going to have a really great 2021 year.
Okay, Hicks, who's your top fantasy defense for 2021?
Talk to him.
I mean, I feel like there's really only one obvious choice. I
Really?
don't know how neither one of you guys picked the L.A. Rams defense. I don't know.
Oh, maybe because they lost. Maybe because they lost their defensive coordinator, who is now the L.A. Chargers head coach, who's my stock-up coach. Is that something to do with it? They
still probably have the best
Aaron Donald
player in the league.
Yeah,
that part. They probably have one of the top 3 cover corners in the league.
That part.
And then they have probably another one of the other top 5 rushers in the league with Leonard Floyd. So I feel like they're just going to be another year of nastiness. They're coming again. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. They're going to see you when you're sleeping and know when you're awake. They're the defense that people dream about, that they want. They have all the components. And I actually picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl last year. I didn't pick them to go this year. But they have all the components to be a Super Bowl team. To me, Matthew Stafford is going to be their biggest problem. I hate to say that, but it's hard to get playoff wins in this league, like I said. And defense,
he has 0, a total of 0.
He doesn't really have any. So, my number one defense is the LA Rams. I think that's going to be the best part of their team is their defense.
Yeah, you can bank on that. I like it. Okay. All right. So that wraps that up. Again, that was our top 5 fantasy player rankings for 2021, 9 quarterback positions. All right. The next segment, we're going to go with our 2021 quote unquote more likely. This is presented by Legacy Indiana. Legacy Indiana is the off-season football program for anyone that is interested in developing their game and getting much better. Coach Kyle and I, we are co-directors of that program. So we're looking for a great 2022 year. And we're going to have more information about some of the things we got going on coming up at the end of this year to really round out 2021 and kick off 2022. All right, so let's get right into it. This is our 2021 more likely question mark NFL teams. You guys can either choose Team A or Team B. So let's start it off. Number one question, more likely to make the playoffs, Patriots or the Dolphins? I will go first.
Talk to him.
I am going with the Patriots out of those two teams. Number one reason, Bill Belichick. Hopefully you heard about him. Number two, spent the most amount of money of any team in free agency this summer. So clearly they have a bitter taste in their mouths from last year. They want to be better. They're going to be better. I can bank on Bill Belichick making his team better. So I would choose the Patriots over the Dolphins to make the playoffs if I had to choose between those two teams. Kyle, who would you select?
Talk to him.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and, as much as it hurts me to say, I'm going to go with the Pats. One, I don't have enough faith in Tua. Yes, honestly, I don't think the Dolphins do either. There's obviously rumors that they were still kind of reaching out to possibly Deshaun Watson. So I don't think they have really trusted him. Two, Pats also got Dante Hightower back this year after opting out last year because of COVID. So I think his presence back, plus all those free agents, like you said, I think that's going to propel them. And between these two teams exactly, I think they for sure have the better shot. And then lastly is honestly, it's the preseason, okay? So you can't judge too much, but I like to overreact about a lot of things. Mac Jones looked good, man. I mean, he looked good in that preseason game. I think he might be a guy. I don't know if that's going to be this year, next year, maybe the next 5 years, but I think he's going to be a guy. I think they got something with him, and if I had to choose between those two, yeah, I'm going Pats.
All right, Hicks, who do you have more likely to make the playoffs this year, Patriots or Dolphins?
Talk to him.
I think you guys summed it up. I'm going Pats. All the reasons y'all just said, and yeah, Mac Jones did look good. And Belly ain't going for 2 years of inconsistency. So
no, he's not. All right, more likely to miss the playoffs completely. Now, I do not think like these two guys. I do not think that any of these teams will miss the playoffs. But if you had to bank on any of these two teams missing the playoffs completely, that's who we're going with. So it's between the Ravens or the Chiefs.
Talk to him.
My pick would be the Chiefs to miss the playoffs completely. I've said it for 2 episodes now. I'm going to say it for a 3rd episode. The Super Bowl hangover is real. Out of these two teams, they have a better chance of just falling off this year simply because of that Super Bowl hangover. Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Yeah, so I'm going to go actually the opposite. I'm going Ravens, all right? One, I think with the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl back-to-back, I want, Terrence, I want you to ask the Patriots about Super Bowl hangover, see kind of what they talk about, you know? Truly, for me, I don't believe in it, all right? I think if I had to choose one of these, again, I believe both of these teams will make the playoffs as well, but if I had to choose some, I'm going Ravens. And fun fact, the Chiefs are the only team in the league to have 2 victories over Lamar. And they're 3-0 right now versus him.
That's true. That's true. Hicks, who do you have? More likely to miss the playoffs completely, the Ravens or the Chiefs in 2021?
Talk to him.
I don't think the Chiefs have any chance to miss the playoffs. I'm going to go Ravens because, again, if we have to choose one, I'm going to trust the power of the Mahomes arm and legs versus the power of Lamar's arms and legs. Even though Lamar actually is not as bad as a thrower, people say.
He's nice.
But yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs. I'll take Chiefs on this one.
Okay, good. More likely to start week 1, Justin Fields with the Bears or Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars? I'll start here.
Talk to him.
I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence. The reason being is that Justin Fields has to battle Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, both who have been starters in the NFL. Foles obviously has won a championship in the NFL. I just think they take it slow with Justin Fields. He'll eventually start this year, just not to start the year. Lawrence only has to beat out Gardner Minshew and Jake Luton. That's not saying much. Obviously, he was the number 1 pick. So if I had to bank on any of those guys starting week 1, I will go with Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way. I'm with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, dude, he's the number one pick. I mean, I haven't looked at the stat, but I think there's probably very rare that the number one overall pick doesn't start week one. So in the exact same reasons, I mean, they have two proven quarterbacks plus Fields on the Bears. So I'd go Lawrence. Lawrence is most likely to start.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. Just like Joe Burrow, of course he started last year, and I don't think that Justin Fields, especially also because he's the type of player that you're looking to do a lot physically. So I think that you don't rush and get him out there. And not only that, the Bears, I'm pretty sure, have some tough opponents their first couple of games. So you really don't want to put him out there in front of some, heavy defenses where then he can't even use his skills. He can't even use what he's going to be good at, to even showcase his talents. Because, their very first game is against the Rams. And, then they have the Bengals after that, but then they come back with the Browns. So in the first 3 games, they got some of the best pass rushers, best coverage, just loaded with first-round picks. I don't think that Justin Fields plays till at least, game 4 or 5.
Yeah, don't send him to the Wolves just yet. You gotta protect that precious piece that is Justin Fields. I'm a little biased of the Bears because I'm a Lions fan, as mentioned. We had a chance to draft Justin Fields. I really wanted Justin Fields. We ended up going with Penei Sewell, guard out of Oregon. I think it would be a really good player, but I'm also rooting for Justin Fields, although he plays against my team in the division. So I'm going to play him twice a year, but I would like to see him do well, at least in the games where he's not playing my Detroit Lions. All right, next. More likely to win their second MVP. We kind of touched on this a little bit with more likely to miss the playoffs completely, but it is between Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes again.
Talk to him.
I'm going to go with, I got to write it out. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson to win his second MVP over Patrick Mahomes this year. The Ravens are returning a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense from last year. So their team is obviously a well-oiled machine. It's the Baltimore Ravens. You know what you're going to get with them. They have a proven track record. They added Sammy Watkins and they drafted Rashad Bateman to help Lamar Jackson on the edge, give him some weapons, give him some receivers. Obviously, he has Andrews at tight end, who is also an all-pro potential type of tight end. Definitely going to be a Pro Bowler. They have Hollywood Brown. You know what he brings? He brings speed. I think adding Sammy Watkins and adding Bateman allows Hollywood Brown to be more of who he is, kind of that second, third receiver, take the top off of a defense, make big plays here and there, but he's not a number one receiver. I think that's kind of been proven. But I think he'll fit really well next to Sammy Watkins and Rashad Bateman. And that's my pick. I just feel like Lamar Jackson will have a better year than Patrick Mahomes. Yes, it's blasphemous. I guess you guys can say that, but I really think the Super Bowl hangover thing is real. And I'm just not as high on the Chiefs this year as other people, maybe. So, Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Yeah, so I'm actually, again, I'm seeming to go opposite every time. I'm actually going to go with Lamar Jackson as well. The reason really for that is because I think Jackson, like you said, I think he's going to be just expected more of him. He has J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards as his running backs. Vice versa with Mahomes, he's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams, those LSU boys. And I like them a little better. I think they're going to earn a little bit more respect than J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards would. So saying that, I just think Lamar is going to have more on his shoulders, more on his plate. A lot of times, I think you can have a lot of quarterbacks, really a lot of players in general, just kind of fold. I think Lamar can handle that pressure. And even though I chose them, to be most likely to miss the playoffs between the two,
ain't none of them teams missing the playoffs. Let's be frank.
So I think, so I'll go with Lamar. I think he's just gonna have to do more for them to be good. More than Mahomes would. Just Mahomes, I think, got a little bit more targets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Hicks, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Well, I think that in the NFL, there's usually two things that, even though it's an unpredictable league and it's wild and it's crazy, we usually can look and see who's going to be a team that's going to struggle the most even before the season starts, and then who's going to be a team that is going to there's no coasting in the NFL because it's the NFL.
No.
But who's going to be a team that is going to pretty much, get their spot in the playoffs, and we know we're going to have to see what they do then. That's Kansas City to me. They're what the Patriots were 6 years ago. They're going to do what they're going to do. They got the same crew returning season 4, same old time, same old place. You turn on the channel and there goes the cast. So I feel like Patrick Mahomes, he threw a sideways pass at the end of the game and it hit a person in the face. Okay, so diving sideways pass. All right, that's how he ended his year last year. This year, he's coming for it. Like he's a competitor. He doesn't need the fame, notoriety. He doesn't need money. He was already, his dad was a professional baseball player for years. He wants to compete. So, I just feel like we're going to see Patrick Mahomes step into. We already knew what he was last year, but this year he's going to take command. I wouldn't even be surprised if we had the same Super Bowl again. I know that seems crazy. I wouldn't be surprised and see them do it again. But yeah, I say Patrick Mahomes more likely to take his next MVP.
All right, more likely to make it to the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills or the Green Bay Packers?
Talk to him.
My pick here will be the Buffalo Bills. There is a reason why when I rank my top 5 quarterbacks of 2021, Aaron Rodgers was not in there. It's not that I don't respect the greatness that is Aaron Rodgers, but in 2021, there's just way too much potential turmoil that can happen in Green Bay. So I'm just staying away from that situation completely. I also think that the Buffalo Bills, they've only added pieces to a team that was already stacked, already a potent offense. They signed Emmanuel Sanders and they signed running back Matt Breida. Those guys will join them this year. Emmanuel Sanders, you know what he can do. He's going to be a possession guy. He's a veteran receiver. You can never have too many veteran players like him. Matt Breida, who's formerly of the 49ers, kind of got a crowded backfield there. So I think he's going to be unleashed when it comes to the Buffalo Bills because they need some help in the running game. And he's a running back that also can catch the ball out of the backfield. So that brings a nice little added piece to that. And then they signed their starting linebacker Matt Milano to a 4-year, $44 million deal. That was a big piece. He's a Pro Bowl type player there, and then a little less than maybe stellar, but I think he can potentially help in a tight spot. Maybe if they need a game or two in case of injury. That is Mitch Trubisky they signed as a potential backup quarterback. You're not going to get much out of him, but again, in case of COVID or injury, I think Mitch Trubisky, who has obviously been a starting quarterback, maybe he can hang on for a half or a game or two and just keep you afloat. So if I had to pick between those two teams, more likely to make the Super Bowl between the Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills, I'm riding with my Bills boys. Hicks, who do you have?
Talk to him.
This is an easy one to me. Bills all day. The Packers, I don't think the Packers are going to be good. I didn't think they were going to be that much good coming back, even with the team they had. To me, they don't have receivers. I mean, they do have Devontae Adams and they brought Cobb back.
That's it.
But that's about it. And they do have my boy from Indiana State, the tight end. I forgot his name.
Thule?
What is it?
I think it's Thule, maybe, or it's something like that.
I forgot, but yeah, he.
I can look it up. You can keep going.
Sycamores go trees. Yeah, but I think that the Packers aren't going to be very good this year. But I do think that, coming back this year, that the Bills, Josh Allen, who else they got over there? I mean, it doesn't even matter. They were a good team last year. We know they got cats. We know they know what they're doing. I'm going with the Bills.
All right, and that name of that tight end from the famed Indiana State, that was Robert Tonyan, who was a baller last year. Tonyan. He was a dog last year.
He was
yeah. All right, Kyle, who do you have?
Talk to him.
Yeah, so I think both you guys do not put enough respect on Aaron Rodgers' name, man. I'm going
Put some
Packers.
respect on my name. Put some respect on his name.
name, man. Come on. Hey, I mean, like I said, he's a reigning MVP, all right? And I completely understand everything with the whole potential turmoil and stuff like that. But again, he said he loves his coaches, his teammates. It's all the front office. And I ain't never seen a front office throw any touchdowns, all right? So I think that's going to be perfectly fine. One, I think the Bills are cursed still from their whole 4 Super Bowl loss. I think that the city is cursed. This is me being completely biased, but just how I feel. And finally, just to your other point, yes, they did sign Mr. Trubisky, but that man stinks. So I'm going Packers.
All right, cool. You heard it here first, man. All right, in our last segment, which is presented by the Legacy Indiana Football December Recruiting Showcase, we are going to go with the NFL kickoff of week 1. This is a Thursday matchup. We're going to pick the winner and why. The matchup for that Thursday will be the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll actually start here.
Talk to him.
I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to win. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. They are the favorite there. See, for me, on one hand, I feel like Tom Brady and company, they're going to win against a potential team that has Dak Prescott that's less than 100. A recent report about Dak Prescott is that he had MRI on his shoulder. They're kind of trying to limit his rep. He's almost like a starting pitcher in the MLB. Like they're trying to like keep his pitch count down. So I don't know what's happening with that. So if Dak is not 100%, I don't think they stand any chance against the Buccaneers. But on the other hand, I feel like, hey, if Dak is ready to go, because we're still a few weeks away from that matchup, I feel like the Cowboys keep this game close, and I feel like they could potentially win it. Again, this is only if Dak is playing, stellar ball and he's 100% healthy. I just don't know if that's something that we can bank on right now with all the reports. So my pick, Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that matchup. Hicks, who do you have?
Talk to him.
I'm going Bucks. I mean, they brought everybody back. The Cowboys, they're the Cowboys. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going with the Bucks.
I like it.
Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, we're all together. I'm with the Bucks too. Not only getting Super Bowl champs, returning all 22. And what actually the story that I heard with Dak is they did count it as a shoulder, but it's actually it's not really a shoulder. It's actually his lat, his upper lat, like underneath his armpit. So like he could throw. The Cowboys announced that they did bring in some MLB consultants, I believe from the Astros, I think, brought him in to kind of look it out. Because like you said, it was almost like a baseball type of injury.
See, I'm well versed, man. I know a little baseball, a little basketball, a little football. See, check me out.
Yes, sir. So they said that it honestly isn't that big of a deal as long as he does it the correct way. But they said it can turn into something that is really big. So me personally, I don't think Dak's going to get a lot of reps at all. I'm going Bucks.
All right. I don't know if that's a good sign. We all three of us picked the Buccaneers. We seemingly think this is going to be an easy layup game for them. I do think Dak Prescott is going to have a wonderful year. I can't stress that enough. But maybe it just doesn't start with this game. I don't know. We'll see. That's what makes the NFL season fun. And in terms of the NFL season, we're just getting started, guys. This is show number 3. We are wrapping up. But I appreciate you guys. You guys have done a wonderful job. We've had nothing but fan support for you guys, for what you've done, for the information you brought forth to us. And I'm just thankful and appreciative to have you guys, man. You guys really rock out this show. You make it easy for me. And this is our 3rd album, man. We just dropping platinum albums every week. So I thank you guys for that. You guys have any last words you wanna hit on? You wanna say?
Hicks, anything?
No, man. Thanks everybody for tuning into the show, and we'll be back for some more. And I'm glad to be on here, and let's get some real NFL games going so we can really talk about some stuff, and then you know I'll be happy then. So.
Sir, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm just pumped to be here. I'm pumped to see what this is going to take, and let's have a great 2021 season.
All right. From these two, from Kyle and Hicks, this is Coach T. Peace.